Hello and welcome to another Grit and Grime basketball podcast. I am your host, as always, David Sago. To my,
I knew you'd fuck up. I
know exactly where you are. I'm joking. Come on, man. I don't f up. I'll tell you guys why I said that later. To my right, we have the Northerner, Michael Downey. To my upper left, we have, you can't even see my hands and I'm pointing. We have Thomas Arnold.
Hello.
So episode 96, as I said, we're getting close and I have some ideas for episode 100. I will share them with you another time. Get excited. So we're just going to kick things off with the playoffs, man. I don't feel like we need to sugarcoat. We don't need to dress it up. We're going to jump straight into what's going on the court in the NBA right now. So we've got two games tonight. The Game 7 of the Nuggets-Clippers series, and we have Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat.
Last and first. Good night.
Last and first. And the Houston Rockets have been eliminated from the playoffs.
So,
yeah, we can see you, Tom.
So with all that adrenaline you've got over there, Tom, I wanted to start there. They were beaten in 5 games by the Lakers, winning only Game 1 of the series before being decimated in 4 straight. They had a little bit of a comeback towards the end of Game 3, but weren't able to take the lead and were beaten soundly. So, where do the Rockets go from here? They have an aging lineup. They have no big men. They have a superstar in James Harden, who was able to average 37 and 5 against the double team, and they have very little else. Westbrook wasn't at 100% for the series. He had coronavirus and then got injured, and he has a huge contract, and to get him, they gave away all their assets. They are now coachless. Their GM has 1 year to run, and they have the cheapest owner in the league who has just furloughed all of his staff during a pandemic.
It's not even the good furlough over there.
No. Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah. Go on, Mike. Go on.
You want me to take it? Yeah, I mean, you blow it up, right?
Yes.
Like, that's what we're waiting for.
That's exactly what I was waiting for.
Yeah, like Harden's kind of shown like numerous times now, and with sort of switching up, being with different superstars and in different systems, that he's not going to take them to the promised land alone. So they need to do something that will be radically different if that is the aim for next season, unless they want to have a proper sort of long-term rebuild. That team will have to look very different.
You say radically different. You mean like maybe just playing without a player over 6'8"?
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like the radical change they need to make is to go back to what we know, like in
old school.
More of a classic format.
They got a bit unlucky because I mean I think if they had come up against the Clippers, maybe their lineup sort of matches up a bit better. But they came up against the Lakers, who have the best, well, if not the best, one of the best big men, like legitimate big men in the game. And it allowed the Lakers to sort of take off their worst player off the field, basically. Open up space because AD can hit the 3. So they can do what they were trying to do better than them. essentially.
So you're saying run it back. Run it back.
Just
Run
take
it
the
back
piss,
and hope
just
you
run
get
it again.
lucky.
Just take the piss. Just that's it. Just do it again. You know, why not?
Run
Why
it
not?
back.
It works so
Get
well.
a different coach.
It works so well. No, it's,
Get
it's just,
Hey, there we go. Get Gentry in.
Get Gentry in.
it's ironic that I don't know, they should trade for, I mean, surprisingly, a point guard and a big guy. I think Westbrook's got to go.
How?
So-
He's set to earn, like, isn't it close to 40 million a year
I think
for the
it's
next
close
2
to,
years?
is it 38? Yeah, it's not an easy one to move, but I guess the Knicks can take him on. You know, he got money. Got no
New York would
expectations.
love Westbrook.
And all of the good assets that they've got to trade, that is going to boost Houston
Need
right
money.
up there. He's Ntilikina and Robinson.
That's the answer, right? He
It's
was
the
like,
answer.
Chris Paul, no. Westbrook, no. Get me Frankie Smokes.
Damn right, damn right.
Who win
Tell
the
you
whole
what.
thing.
Tell you what, that might be a good fit. You know, need somebody who can play defense. He'd be taller than anyone else on that roster. You know, he can play center. That's fine. I don't know. I think it was a good experiment. You know, trying to get the team that's play small ball and shoot a lot of threes and you know, trying to go that way, which is the way the NBA is going anyway now. You know, everybody's shooting threes, even on transition. So they've taken that and they've pushed it to the max. And I think now it's kind of backfired. Once they play the team with a more classic lineup of big guys and I guess proper point guards with Rondo and stuff like that. So it's I don't know. I take I don't know. I don't feel sorry for them being out. It's not. I'm more of somebody who enjoy watching a more balanced brand of basketball, and I think they were just again, my own opinion, they took it too far to the extreme of shooting threes. You know, where they're like, to me, it seems like they're running two plays. It's either Harden taking the ball up top, and the other 4 guys are just waiting in the corners, and they just do whatever you want to do. And then the other play is just transition, chucking the ball to someone who's open, or Harden going in and kicking out the ball to somebody on the wings. But there's a lot of there's a lot of 3-point shooting with nobody there to grab a rebound. So on those nights where it's not falling in, you're fucked. So there's no. I think you can do that at times for a portion of the game, but like when that's your only game plan going to the playoffs, I think that's a bit. Yeah, I don't think you'll pay off anytime soon. You need to have some big guys in there.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I agree with that, because if you can force the other team to match up with you, then if you're not giving up sort of every rebound that's going, and you've got sort of a plethora of 3-point shooters that if one guy is not hitting it, you can bring another guy in. It can work. It can work. I'm not as down on that system as you might be. I think.
I think.
But I just don't think it's going to work with them.
My issue is that they have one system. Like there's no alternative to.
No plan B.
There's no plan B. That's what we were saying last week. There's no plan B to. But like, it's like, okay, 3-point shooting is not working. You know, okay, like you said, it might be somebody else coming off the bench, and he might, that person might hit a bunch of threes and get everybody else back in the groove. But it's not worked that way this season in the playoffs. So I don't.
No.
And again, sometimes when you're not going to be hitting threes, sometimes you just get a big guy in there and just feed him the ball and trying to get easy twos and stuff like that. So I've not. There's no other option. I don't think you can go every season trying to get and do that in the playoffs and expect a different result. And I think they've pushed it to the maximum, to the limit this year. At least like last season, they had Capella and a bunch of other big guys that could, kind of give you some sort of, even on a limited period of time, could give you different options.
See,
This year, there's nothing. There's nothing. So it's just.
I think the reason that they lost, and the reason why they would have lost anyway, lost to the Clippers too, is because with that spaced out system, their 3-point shooters actually weren't that great percentage wise. And what the Lakers actually did was put 5 players that can also make threes, albeit not at a great percentage, but can all shoot a 3-point shot. While still maintaining that versatility of having a big man on the floor. That's the reason why Myers Leonard, Brook Lopez, Nikola Vucevic is so useful, because you can play 5 out with someone who's 6'10", 6'11", and AD and Markieff Morris provided that for the Lakers.
And then you still have a massive advantage on the backboard as well. Defensively,
yes, on the boards and protecting the rim.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's kind of major. There's a YouTuber, I think it's Coach Daniel, that sort of broke it down in a really good way, and how the Lakers adjusted by taking out McGee and Howard and sort of making them sort of sit on the bench the whole time, and what that did for the space and stuff like that. That was really, it sort of highlighted exactly how that works and why they were able to beat them pretty handedly after they figured that out.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, as I said, it's going to be rough for them. All those things working against them right now. I don't know where they take that team in the off season. It seems like D'Antoni's lame duck season has been unsuccessful. I predict that Daryl Morey's lame duck GM season next year isn't going to go too well. There's already been friction between him and the owner, Tilman Fertitta, as we said before, and he's not going to get a new contract. They're not going to offer him one this off season. Tilman Fertitta is going to disrespect him the same way he disrespected Mike D'Antoni, and not offer the extension before the old contract runs out, and then he's going to leave.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, why is everyone leaving when I don't offer them extension? But they'll bring in someone cheap to coach, and then next year they'll bring in someone cheap to GM.
So it's not looking good for
Daryl
them
Morey
in the short.
Sorry,
run.
go on.
No, sorry, I'm saying it's not going to look good for the Rockets in the next three seasons, I think, because they need to rebuild not only the back office, but even on the court. Like, it's on every single level. There's it's question marks. It's a transition period for them, and it's going to be interesting times for Rockets fans.
But I mean, that's I've never been the biggest Harden fan, but he's obviously great at what he does. And to me, you've got to cash in on that now. If they leave it like another season or two, his value's only going to go down.
Yeah.
So, and I think Morey would be the GM that would do that out of everybody. He's got the sort of the balls to actually sort of trade away the runner-up MVP. And
if
does Tilman Fertitta let him do that?
Well, that's the question. That's the question. If he doesn't, then
1 year away, 1 year out of his contract, and he just trades the superstar.
Yeah, but it's the right thing to do.
Gaudy.
It's the right thing to do, and
what David Griffin did.
Yeah, he's trusted him up to this point, and he seems to back Morey ball. Yeah, but yeah, as you said, it's if he's planning to get rid of him anyway. Do you want to allow him to get in people, even if he says, okay, you can trade Harden? Do you want him to get the people that he wants to get in, or do you save that sort of for
exactly?
For your
I'm not sure
GM?
he has. I'm not sure Tilman Fertitta has the foresight to be like, oh well, he's probably going to leave in a year. I don't think he understands the concept of lame duckery and what it does to a team, an organization, and an individual.
Yeah.
When you know it's over, oof, oh boy.
Yeah.
What, you're going to trade away my only center and big man? Okay. I'll coach whatever you want me to coach. You pay the bills. So they were knocked out by the Lakers. The Lakers are sitting and stewing. They will be playing in 3 days. We're recording this on Tuesday evening. So there'll be 2 days of rest, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday will be the start of the Western Conference Finals. But who will the Lakers be up against? We have a Game 7 tonight. Nuggets, Clippers. Clippers won 3 of the first 4 games, and the Nuggets have won 3 since. They're 5-0 in what do you call them?
In
knockout
games, in Game 7s, elimination games.
In elimination games, 5-0 in elimination games, and they have one tonight. So does the streak end, or are we all going to be saying those Clippers, man? The team on paper, they couldn't get it done.
The Clippers have it for me. I think Kawhi's going to have a Kawhi get it done game. I don't think we've seen it from him in the playoffs yet. But I think that's what's coming. I think he's going to step up.
I think game 5 and 6 were copy and paste games, so we're due to have something that doesn't resemble what we've just witnessed. So I think it will be a super close one. I kind of want both teams don't. To me, they're a bit odd because they both had times where in the playoffs where they looked almost like they were done, and then the following game they just came out of nowhere. Like the Nuggets did that against the Jazz, and now they're doing it again against the Clippers. When you think, okay, that's it's over. They don't look interested, or they look tired, or whatever. But then they still manage to get back into it. And then the Clippers the same. When they do, they play 3 games out of 4, and then the 4th game they always do horrible things. I don't know. I think the Clippers will win it, but it won't be a big win. I think it'd be like a buzzer beater. I think Kawhi is going to do that Toronto buzzer beater from last season.
So you mean playoff P's not taking the last shot?
Hell no. Lou Will's got to take it.
Lou Will could. Yeah.
Just be the most calm and collected. That setup is so collected.
He's like 3 of 20 from 3 in the playoffs.
He'd still take it, and he would be calm as fuck about it.
Yep.
Calm missing it too. I miss guys. All right, man, let's go home, man. Let's get out of this bubble.
Be the strip club. Don't worry about it.
Let me go get some wings.
Get some wings.
You see, what did I say about being brave and courageous with your picks just before this? They've lost 2 in a row, guys.
Yeah.
They have no one that can guard Jokic.
True.
Zubac has been better at it, but he can't play big minutes.
He can't get out there as well sometimes.
Exactly. Harold's been an absolute ghost on defense and mostly a ghost on offense. Their whole supporting cast has just disappeared. Yeah. Kawhi should have stayed in Toronto.
I don't actually disagree.
The team was better.
Yeah.
The team was better. And they would have been in the East.
Yeah. It would be a very different story. But
they'd be in the finals.
Agree. I can tell you what you're saying. The Nuggets, right? Is that who you're picking now?
No, do you know what? I believe the Clippers will pull through just because I always believe the better team will win. But there's nothing other than we all think the Clippers are great. There's no reason. There's no basketball. Oh, well, when you look at this part of the game and this matchup and this exploit and this. No, there's no basketball reason for me to pick the Clippers.
It's what you say. It's on paper. On paper, you're like, they'll win this.
Yeah.
Right.
But when you watch the game, I went back and watched the last 3 games, and there's just like the Nuggets have outplayed them
Oh yeah,
for 3 games
easy.
straight, and they lost game 1 when they were completely tired, and then what was the other one? Game 4 was a close game. Was it game 3? Game 2, the Nuggets won. Game 3 was a close game. Like, there's nothing really to choose between these teams. And I wonder if the fact that they were so close in the regular season, we dismissed the Nuggets. And I continued to dismiss the Nuggets. So I'm happy to say and will honestly say I was wrong. I was wrong about the Nuggets. I thought they had nothing for the Clippers. I counted them out against the Jazz.
Yeah.
Same,
Conley came back.
Right? But now they play with that fire, that drive that I thought that they were lacking, and the Clippers don't.
That's the thing with the Clippers. They look as a unit, as a team, they look soulless, right?
Yeah.
It's like they're there. I don't think there's a sense of sacrifice for your teammate in that team. It's like this, and it's a funny thing because you've got Leonard is the first guy who'd probably dive on the ball. Harold would be probably also somebody who will fight for you, but I don't think they've gelled. Maybe it's because they have not played that many games as a team, like all together. It's
I mean, it's a team that's been entirely put together. I think there's only sort of Trez and Lou Will who get big minutes that have been there for a while.
I think they need to go team building, go play, go do a bit of that paintballing somewhere, zip lining, whatever.
That's what they need.
Do something.
No, I think they're lacking a playmaker or a general. They're lacking in a player that knits things together. Like, they have a bunch of players that can play one-on-one or that can get you a bucket. But as you saw down the stretch of that last game, well, like you said, the two last games was sort of a carbon copy. When the offense bogs down, if Paul George misses a shot and then Kawhi misses a shot and then Lou Will misses a shot and then Harold misses a shot, all of a sudden you're just like, we can't score. And that's it. They just can't score. Whereas on another team, if the Raptors are missing shots or whatever, a Lowry can step in and maybe get to the foul line or take a charge or do something that sort of knits the team together and creates some kind of momentum. Whereas they, you know how they say teams take on their star players' personality. That coldness that Kawhi has, that roboticness that Kawhi has, is kind of what we're seeing. It's like, stuff is happening all around us, and we're just stoic.
Well, look at the Lakers. Look at the Lakers. Their leader is LeBron James. You know who the leader is, and you've seen his spirit and the way he's approaching the game. You see how he's on the court. That's kind of trickled down to the rest of his teammates, and they all now are expressing themselves the same way. And I think you're right with Kawhi. It's just like, is as much as of a great player as he is, he's top 3. It's like there's no emotion coming out of him. There's nothing, it's like he's a freaking robot, and that's awesome in some ways. But then also when you need that fire, it's not there.
Yeah.
But that's exactly why I think that it's going to be him to do it, and he can do it. We've seen him. We've seen him single-handedly dismantle teams before. Yeah. And he can do it offensively as well. And I just feel like that's what he's going to do. I don't think that the Nuggets have anybody that would really be able to stop him. I don't think there are many players in the NBA that can stop him when he's really going.
When he gets going, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think right now you're talking about like a one game where you need reasons to believe they can make it, or you need somebody. But like in terms of, in a broader sense, in general, like every teams he's been on, the Spurs, they also were kind of the same that they were. They wasn't really
business-like.
It was very business. It was the Spurs, as
It's kind
much
of
as I love
their
them,
personality anyway.
it's the personality.
Right?
So he was matching the personality of this, over there, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But like Raptors, he wasn't communicating much. He didn't say much, but he was a
No.
leader. He was playing well enough that you could forgive him not being too vocal. At the clip,
But they had Lowry
They
as
had a
well.
leader.
had Lowry,
Yes,
exactly.
yes. And
Right.
in the Spurs, they had Ginobili, they had Parker, they had Duncan.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I think that's what's missing. There's a couple of pieces that are missing on the Clippers bench, or on the team that a bit more fire in there, a bit more charisma. I guess maybe that's what they need.
Yeah, and Trez Harrell is the heart of the team, but I think with him playing so poorly by his standards, of course, I think that's kind of taken away from that energy, from his effect on the rest of the team.
Yeah,
I think sometimes you need for the player that provides the fire, that provides the drive or the players that provide the fire and the drive or the leadership to be playing well, for them to be vocal. Like it's a lot harder for him to hold people accountable if he's not doing the right things. You can't point the finger when you're not performing yourself.
Yeah, there's definitely that. I think that's definitely a factor in it. You have to sort of lead by example, but also I kind of see Trez more as an energy guy, whereas it's that sort of, there is sort of a certain amount of calmness that you want. It's kind of trying to think of another example.
Well, Patrick Beverley's gone off the boil. He's averaging like a foul every 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's there's being loud and there's sort of being vocal and stuff like that, but there's a certain sort of gravitas that you can have that sort of commands people to follow you and stuff like that. And I think that it's that just Kawhi is the perfect guy to have it, but he just doesn't, and you can't force it, and people won't, like, it's just not working out like that. LeBron, Paul, Chris Paul are like perfect examples of it, but they're also incredibly good at playing basketball.
I think
Lowry's probably the best example of somebody that isn't the greatest player, but just has that sort of gravity now. So
I think what the Clippers may need is like a performance coach or something like that. Somebody that is, I think they might
a motivational speaker.
almost a motivational speaker. But like, do you see I went back like you, Dave. I went back to the last 2-3 games, and it's like the body language when there's a turnover or whatever, a missed shot, like I can guarantee you that in the changing rooms or back at the hotel, like they must bitch about the other guy big time. Like it's like, oh, it's a fucking turnover there.
You see, and you know why you think that? Because you don't see it on the court.
Yeah.
They put their heads down, and they're thinking it. They don't say anything.
Shoulders are down, heads down. Looking down at the floor, and it's like, and that's why I was going on about LeBron James. Like LeBron would be on the court explaining to you what was going on and how to, he would talk to you. Like, if you fuck
why
up,
you were wrong and how wrong you were.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Let me show you how wrong you were. But
you gotta dunk that ball.
At least he will be there on the court right away, showing you what needs to be improved. And I think that the Clippers might be keeping that, bottling that in, on the court, and just maybe, I'm sure there's gonna be, once the season's over, there might be some things coming out saying, they might not be a great vibe in the changing rooms. But I think a performance coach would be something to look into for them. Maybe not at that stage, but for next season, because there's a lot of, and that's why the last 2 games were very similar when they were leading big, and then it just all crumbled. And that's part of it is mental toughness. I think they're not there yet.
As a team. Maybe as individuals, we've seen them come through things, but as a team,
individually, they have players that on paper are tough. So it's weird that it's not happened as a unit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of similar to the Sixers, right? It just doesn't seem like the personal relationships are there to help them sort of move forward as a team. Um, I also think that there's a lot of expectation on the Clippers, and there's not on the Nuggets. Same as like Toronto
That's
this
true.
sort of season. They're sort of playing a lot more free. And yeah, I felt like that's kind of weighed on the Clippers quite a lot throughout the whole season. You know, they haven't really cared about the regular season.
Now it's
And
time to care.
yeah, and it's time to care, but also it's kind of stressful, right? And when it's not going well, yeah, you don't have that sort of confidence in a team where you don't really know them that well.
It's funny the way we talk about them, but yet we're still, picking them to go through. But
I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go Nuggets. Praise
You're going
Jamal
Nuggets?
Murray. Yes. He meditates in his free time.
You see,
So
I'm only picking the Clippers on the
all I
ground
need to know.
the same reasons that Mike is picking the Clippers, because of Kawhi. I think that's why I'm at.
I do think that everything that we've said that's negative about Kawhi's energy and his roboticness in leadership is why he's the perfect player to play a Game 7, because he's not going to have any of the emotions of a Game 7. He's going to play it like any other game, and that always helps if you can just be relaxed and be yourself in the moment.
And hit a double bounce off the rim, buzzer beater to win the series.
Right?
Not that I'm bitter.
Yeah. But when you look back at the Game 7 that the Nuggets played against the Jazz, it was the whole series was super high scoring, 50 points, 50 points, 50 points here, 120, 117, 130 points on your head. And then Game 7 was ugly as all hell because everyone got tight.
Yeah.
And I think if everyone gets tight again, Kawhi's gonna show his value in that situation. But lose anyway.
What do you guys think of Jamal Murray?
He's streaky, right?
Yeah.
He's talented, but he's streaky.
I find him really frustrating with that.
Yeah.
Like I was about to write him off in the Jazz thing, like this guy can't do it. He's not a number 2, and then he starts pulling out 50-point games,
showing he's a number 1.
Yeah, but then he comes back into this series, and it's kind of like it's not quite there again. And it's just I can't figure him out.
Yeah, I think he's growing into stardom, and
right.
You're going to have these inconsistencies when you're not quite there yet, right? Like he's a couple of years older than Jason Tatum, but we see it with him as well, where he'll have 3 30-point games in a row, and then he might have a 16-point game and shoot badly or turn the ball over. And it's just because, it's hard what the Hardens, the LeBrons, what the Giannis's do, where every single night they perform at such a high level. It's hard to get there. Few people ever get there. But he's on his way to wherever he's gonna end up, and he's not there yet. He's still fulfilling his potential.
Yeah.
But he looks like it's gonna be prime Murray is gonna be a problem, a real problem.
Yeah.
Because in terms of exploiting matchups, which they've been doing a lot in this series, exploiting Shammer, exploiting Lou Will, exploiting Harrell. He's a matchup nightmare with the wrong person on him. And that's gonna hold them in good stead going forwards. And if he can be consistent with it, they're gonna be fighting in the playoffs every year.
Yeah. That's what I need to see from him. I think is just consistency.
Sure. You see him shake Kawhi though. I love when I see Kawhi get shaken. Oh, it's so great. Pull that thing back. Kawhi went
I saw Kawhi's disgusting block where it's like he managed to get a fingertip on it, even though the palm of his hand is like a foot away from it.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, he's a lot. But his guard defense isn't what it was.
Yeah.
And neither's Paul George's. That both of those have been a factor in this series. So with the Western Conference Finals looming, we'll be a few games in when we reconvene next week. You guys had Lakers Clippers in the Western Conference Finals.
Yep.
What were your predictions at the time?
I had Clippers going through. I can't remember how many games.
You had it in 7. I've got it up here right now.
7, yeah. I was going to say 6 or 7.
Trying to find myself. I had Lakers in 6. Home court advantage and all that.
You know what? I've actually realized that in my picks, I've gone against a lot of the things that I said at the start of the season. Because I said that if the Lakers come up against the Clippers don't have a big man that can fuck with AD at all. And I think they're getting problems from Jokic, and Jokic plays a bit of a different game, but AD can step behind the 3-point line. AD can do it inside. Like, he's going to give them a problem.
For sure.
If it goes that way. For
sure. Tom, you got yours up?
Still looking. Do you want to hear something funny? I just got logged out.
Oh, okay. I'll hook you up. Do you want to change your picks? You're not actually allowed to, but if you could change your pick, anyone, I'm not talking to anyone, Mike. Anyone could change their pick. Would you change your pick now? Either the team or the games? I wouldn't.
I would change it to the Lakers. Yeah, I think I would.
4 games?
Hell no. No, I think if I was to pick now, I think I would go Lakers in 6.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
Not in 7, in 6 yet.
It's a different matchup, though. I do think some of the problems that the Nuggets pose for the Clippers, the Lakers do not.
Yeah.
I
think the Lakers will struggle with to guard Kawhi.
LeBron's got him in his pocket, man. It's
Ooh.
not an issue. It's not an issue. He knows. That's it. Just send him left. He doesn't pull up going left. He doesn't go to the rim going left. That's all right. You just push him left.
We'll see. We might not.
That's it, man.
No.
All right. So you would go Lakers in 6, which is why I had it before the playoffs, you know.
So
moving on, we have the Eastern Conference Finals. Miami versus Boston starts tonight. Game 1 would be in the books. Neither of you had a Miami-Boston Conference Finals, did you?
Who did? If anybody predicted Miami going through, then...
See, that strikes me like the kind of thing that Aaron would predict.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's why he's bottom.
But, I see this one going... it could be 7. I'm leaning Boston, though. I am leaning Boston. But there's definitely some things that Miami can do to pose real problems for them. Mainly around Bam Adebayo just dominating them on the inside. And Jimmy Butler dominating them on the inside as well. The Celtics have an excellent 5, but without Gordon, they don't go much deeper than that. Mm-hmm. And Gordon Hayward, that is not some kind of other person whose last name is Gordon. And I think Bam can get them in foul trouble. I think Butler can get them in foul trouble. And if that happens, they're going to struggle to plug the holes, to plug the gaps. The Raptors don't put pressure on you in the same way that Miami do at the rim and getting you to the foul line, But I do just think the Celtics have too much firepower for them, too many options. I don't know, but yeah, I'm gonna go Celtics in 7.
Celtics in 7.
I kind of want to go. I want to go Miami in 7,
Ooh,
but I know it won't happen. So yeah,
you know, I
it's,
don't know, it won't happen.
it's whatever I say on the Eastern Conference, it just doesn't happen. So whatever I say now, the opposite will happen.
I mean, that's the thing. Like the East has been really, really difficult to predict. Like, if even I had Boston get this far, and I had Boston going to the final, but I didn't think they would have as easy a time over the Sixers as they did, and definitely didn't see Miami sort of having a really easy run through, even though the teams that they were playing were quite difficult.
Yeah.
So I'm finding it a bit difficult. I might switch and go Miami.
Okay.
I don't know if Boston are ready yet. I think that's the thing.
I think Jimmy Butler's going to grown man them.
I think basically, I think he is, and they've got this energy about them, Miami. They're clicking as a team really well.
Yeah.
It's like it's the opposite of the Clippers, right? They've seemed to have found their identity, and just work really well as a team. And they've got that guy in Butler that sort of can lead the way.
Their ball movements at times were just amazing to watch. It's like literally the opposite of the Rockets. It's like again going back to them, but it was just there were moments where I was like, wow, this is really, really like impressive. I wasn't expecting them to play at that level. And then, like you said, Jimmy Butler is that leader. Doesn't have to score 20, 25 a game. He's just like he'll be around 17, 18 a game, but then he'll do other things, being the vocal leader and being that guy on defense that could shut down anyone. He's been so steady during the entire playoffs, and that's what no matter what will happen, he'll be there with like 17, 18, 19, couple of blocks, bunch of rebounds, bunch of assists, and he'll get in the face of whoever is gonna be on him defensively. So that's quite interesting to see how they've came as a proper team now for the playoffs. And I think they've got a little extra salsa in them.
Okay.
That make it
okay. Because it's Miami, right?
Hey.
Miami. I think they match up well. I think it's gonna go 6 or 7 definitely.
All right. So you guys go Miami. I'm going Celtics in 7, like a true Laker. Yeah, it's gonna be fun to see how they match up. The coaching battle, Spo versus Brad Stevens. The different defenses, how they're gonna try and disrupt what the other team does. It's gonna be very, very, very interesting. We finish up with D'Antoni. We've already mentioned he's out. He's not going to entertain contract renewals with the Rockets.
Yep.
There's a few teams looking for a new coach. Where do we think he ends up? I think the two teams that appear to be the front runners are the Sixers and the Pelicans. But if anyone wants to suggest anywhere else, Chicago or New York, these big cities.
We've got a new coach. We don't need him.
Oh man, I think like somebody like Sacramento or something like that would actually be quite a decent fit for him.
Yeah, with Fox, that'd be a good one.
Yeah. Just to get in there quite early when there's not like a lot of egos around and build his system. I think that would be a good thing, but I don't know if that's something that he's interested in doing.
I don't see him like fitting in with the Sixers. I don't see how his style of coaching and play fits with
No.
I do.
Embiid. And you do. How?
Embiid's gonna be launching 30-footers like he's Dame Lillard.
Give him the green light.
That's
It's gone
it.
well so far.
John Legend featuring Andre 3000. Green light.
God. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
it. And
That's-
finally, to fulfill our bet, our off the pod bet that Simmons will hit 12 or more threes next season, I'm gonna be quids in. Yeah. Everything's gravy.
That would get it done. For sure.
You just sold it to me now. Actually, I kind of
Hoist
want to
it.
see it now. I want to see it.
Hoist it. You know you can make them. D'Antoni is the perfect person to give Simmons the confidence to start hoisting them threes.
Imagine
man.
that.
Put
He
it up.
actually makes Simmons
Put it-
into a megastar
He'll
by
be
just
the new
forcing him to shoot.
50% shooter. Imagine.
6'9" Steve Nash with defense, man. The monster.
Steve Nash, really?
Magic Johnson meets Larry Bird.
No, I don't see it. I don't see it happening. I mean, but again, Sixers have been experimental, right? But
Tom
Give him
Cunningham.
that 1 year contract. Give him a 1 year contract. Fuck it. just go run with it. Just do whatever you want. Just why not? Why not? I mean, it's not worked out for the Sixers so far, so might as well just try something again to the extreme.
yeah,
and
Fuck
try
it,
something completely different. You know, why not? Why not? Running back one last time with D'Antoni.
Run it back.
Chuck a bunch of threes. You know, Tobias Harris shooting 60%. Want to see that?
he'll trade. Well, oh no, it wasn't really his idea. I was going to say he'll get Embiid and Horford traded for like don't even know.
Covington and Chris
Harris,
Paul.
Joe Harris, and Covington. Get them back.
Oh, a trade
Stand
with the
in the
Nets. Yeah,
corner.
get Harris and who else they got? Is Joe Johnson still on there on the Nets?
They got a bunch of guards.
Oh, Johnson. He's playing in the big
Perfect.
three and tearing it up.
Still fit, can still shoot
Still
threes.
fit.
Fine.
Sean Marion, Dustin Waller,
Hitch,
Barbosa.
Marbury. You bring in as well.
Raja Bell.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Bring them
Gang
all
back
back.
together.
So what are we saying though?
Oh,
Like,
gosh. Yeah, where do you think he lands?
I don't know. I cannot see him going to the Sixers. I don't know how that will work out.
It doesn't. It doesn't. If he goes to the Sixers, then it sort of it would signify a major change in the roster. I would think.
Don't you think there needs to be one anyway?
Yeah, I mean that could be the thought, but
Trade Embiid for Harden. Boom.
Problem
Get
solved.
Harden
Hey.
to the Sixers.
Play pick and roll. Simmons roll into the basket off the Harden
Hell yeah.
dribble.
yeah, you could.
Deadly.
Hey, could happen. Could happen.
Deadly. They double Harden, trap him, throw it to Simmons. 4 on
Yeah.
3. It's over for you. Over. It's over.
I was gonna say I don't know how Harden would feel about playing with somebody that can't shoot threes, and
Draymond
isn't
on
going to stand in the
steroids.
corner.
I don't think he'd understand. I don't think
Capella.
he'd be there. What's that?
Capella, yeah.
Mm,
Well,
His
he
Capella
hasn't been
on
playing a
steroids.
lot recently.
Yeah, maybe not.
short answer is I don't know. I don't know where he's gonna land. I have no idea. I don't see a team or a project that right now would fit D'Antoni's philosophy. Maybe the Kings. The Kings actually a great shout. I think that could be one, but again,
I could like it just because
I could see why. Yeah.
I can't see somebody that is looking to contend for a title bringing in D'Antoni
Exactly.
basically next year.
The
But
Bucks.
like, if you're a team, the Bucks. I mean, really? Hey,
Bud,
they could.
Oh,
Worst
three
things have
times Bud
happened.
has shown that he's had the number one seed. Hasn't got it done in the East. Doesn't
Yeah,
make adjustments.
great regular season,
Great regular season coach.
not great in the playoffs. But that's kind of the same as D'Antoni, right? He win you a lot of regular season games, but
Yeah,
hasn't got
that's
it
true.
done. Hasn't got
That's
it
true.
done. But if he was to build up like a team like Charlotte or Sacramento or something like that, I could see that being interesting at least, right?
Charlotte
I
and
think-
interesting should not be in the same sentence.
Exactly. This is their problem.
I think the
Right.
prerequisite for him would be, like you said, a non potentially winning, like, not a team that is at the top, like something like mid,
A contender.
contender for the playoffs.
What about OKC then?
Sure.
Billy
Sure.
Donovan's just
Yeah.
left there.
Hmm. They've got a
Yeah.
vacancy.
They're about to trade Chris Paul, potentially.
Potentially.
Maybe he comes in and convinces him to. Nah, that's my idea. Maybe he convinces him to stay, but yeah, Chris Paul is. Yeah, he's just come off a great season, and his stock is never going to be this high in his 30s again.
No.
So now's the time to sell high. But if they don't, D'Antoni and Chris Paul back together again. Last time, number one seed.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't he got like an insane contract as well, Chris Paul?
He does, but it
Doesn't he?
expires sooner than the Westbrook one. I think it might only
Yeah.
have 1 or 2 years left to run.
Yeah. Hey.
So OKC or Kings? There you go. Done. There are your answers.
Going once.
Yeah. What about the Pacers? Pacers? Can we throw them in the mix?
I mean,
Give him a Euro big. Mike Brogdon running the pick and roll.
But even in terms of image, like when you think D'Antoni, you think speed, funky, like fresh. It's like Indiana, and I have respect for Indiana, but it's like it's almost that old school. You want that guy on the bench, like 70-year-old dude with his.
Turned 70
No, but
this year.
it's got to have those khakis with the polo shirt like tucked in, and the trousers that goes up here with glasses, thick glasses. That's what I'm thinking. Like a.
I mean, I don't know. I think it could work. I mean, Miles Turner is sort of like an athletic big that can shoot the three and catch an oop.
Sabonis, passing big man.
Yeah, Sabonis. They've got,
Can be his Boris Diaw.
They've got Oladipo, who can shoot at least.
Play defense. Brogdon.
I don't know. I
Brogdon,
think
yeah.
that anywhere that D'Antoni goes is going to be interesting. I don't think they're a contender right now, and he could get them to be sort of a top seed in the East. If it works, if it clicks. So yeah, I can easily see a team that doesn't have like a strong identity that's anti space and pace, giving him a go. Right?
That's anti-space and pace.
Like if it's a team that is anti-space and pace, then they're obviously not going to go there.
Right.
If that makes sense. Too many negatives.
Yes. Right. Okay. So D'Antoni's not going anywhere. He's going to retire.
I mean,
you could see him on the Bulls as well. I mean, there's young players that like to run.
Apparently Billy Donovan's a Dundee over there.
oh really?
Apparently, that's the word on the street. You didn't hear it from me. Straight out of sources.
But you mentioned New Orleans, but no.
He's just too similar to Gentry. Like, I don't see why you would get rid of Gentry and bring in D'Antoni. Save the money.
But owners tend not to be that imaginative. They don't
Exactly.
go that far away from old NBA coaches.
Don't they also get someone opposite to who they already had? Like if you've had an offensive coach, you could then go defensive. If you had a defensive coach, you then go offensive.
True, but they had a completely new team last season, and
Yep.
they've got like a new star really going into next season. So, and D'Antoni is kind of like the prototype, right? He's the first one, or
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's been others, Don Nelson and people like
yeah,
that.
that's I was gonna say.
But yeah, but like when the Suns wanted to get rid of D'Antoni but wanted to carry on. No, sorry, they got rid of D'Antoni and then they brought back pace and space. They brought in Gentry, who was D'Antoni's assistant. Like they're cut from the same cloth. It's firing Phil Jackson and getting in Tex Winter. It's same dude.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But I think, as I said, I think that D'Antoni wants to be a contender, and if I'm the owner of a contender, or GM of a contender, I wouldn't want D'Antoni. So for me, there's not a good fit.
A
Basically,
contender, you say? So after the Clippers lose Game 7, and Doc Rivers gets fired in LA. D'Antoni to the Clippers. You heard it here first, guys. Book it.
I mean, he could well go back and coach in Europe again. You know, he used to coach in Italy, I think. Why not? Well, they've got
a name for it.
Dude, they've got money. Milan, they've got a massive budget. They can pay for him. They can pay.
Anyway, let's end it there, guys. Yes. Thank you for listening to the Grit and Grime Basketball Podcast. Remember, you can catch us on any podcast platform. Grit and Grime Podcast on socials at Grit and Grime Pod. Please like, share, review. I missed one of them again.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Hey.
And we are on YouTube. View on
Hi guys.
YouTube.
That's what you have to say. Come on, guys.
Yes, sorry. Hi guys. If you could just give us a like if you like the video and smash that subscribe button.
Smash the subscribe button. Hit the bell so you get an email every time we go.
You can get a notification every time one of our videos goes live.
Beautiful.
Oh man, the amount of filler on damn YouTube videos makes me sick. Is that it? Yep, that's it.
Yep.
So from me, David Sago, from Michael Downey,
Peace,
and from Thomas Arnold.
Mavericks for life.
We're out of here.
Cheers, guys.